Hi everyone, welcome to today's Philosophy of Language Socratic Dialogue. Before we go into the discussion, I would like the teams to go ahead and introduce themselves.
Yeah, hi everyone, I'm Pratibha and I'm the coach for team Silent Architects and I'm currently working in the Student Unicorn Lab in DP.
Hi everyone, I am Parisa and I am a member of Team Silent Architect and currently working as a data champion in Deep Thought.
Hello everyone, my name is Janvi and I'm from Student Unicorn Lab and today I'm a part of Team Silent Architect.
Hello everyone, my name is Socratic. I'm working as a data champion at Creative Organics.
Hello everyone, I'm Dia and I'm the coach for team Language Nurturers.
Hello everyone, I am Sagnik and I am a member of Team Language Nurturers.
Hello everyone, I am Archana. I am the team of language nurturers and I work as content writer in Unique Biotech team.
Hello everyone, I'm Surya. I'm a member of Thought Leadership Lab and today I'm a part of Team Language Nurturers.
Hi everyone, I'm Paridhi and I will be one of your co-moderators today.
Hi everyone, I'm Artua and I'll be your moderator today and I'm a growth hacker at Deep Thought. Which team is going to pitch first?
We will.
Okay, you have 2 minutes for your pitch. Also, can we know why did you name yourself Team Silent Architects?
We named ourselves Silent Architects because we shape understanding and meaning, just as language quietly shapes how we see the world.
Okay, thank you, Janvi. Over to the team for their pitch. Who's sharing the screen?
Is it visible?
Not yet. Yeah, now it's visible.
Yes, it's visible now. Please, you have 2 minutes. Please get started.
Janvi?
Yeah, please, let's start. So our pitch is that the philosophy of language, the silent architect of our reality. And our first point is language as a mirror, reflection or distortion. Language not only reflects our thoughts, but also has the power to shape them. Language deeply influences not only how we think, but also how and why we think, along with what we value in ourselves and also in others.
Yeah.
Ritik, please go on.
Yeah. I'll... Breaking free, language is a tool for liberation, right? We have language is a combination of many things, cultural attitudes and experiences. And language should also promote equity, like gender neutral pronouns, they, them. Then we think that grammar defines freedom. Yes, grammar does define freedoms and helps reduce the cognitive entropy. Yeah, Ritvik.
You only have 30 seconds left of your 2 minutes. Can we move it up
Ritvik.
fast?
Ritvik, you're on mute.
Sorry, there was a mishap. Okay, to conclude, I would say that language is far more than just a means of communication. It is the lens through which we pursue the world. By understanding its influence, we can shape our how we empower the future in a more inclusive and creative manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Silent Architects. Over to Team Language Nurturers for their question.
So I have a question, like how language can shape our thoughts.
We have
Languages shape. Okay, Parisa, please.
We have thoughts, right? So they are just now imagination. So we could use languages as a translators. Like they could help us verbalize the things and make give us more clarity about our thoughts.
So, like, language is needed to get any thought. Without language, thought will not come for anyone.
It can come without languages, thoughts can come, but using translating them into language would provide us more clarity.
Oh,
I have a question. So, language thoughts are inherently an individualistic thing, right? So, like our thoughts are mostly kept to ourselves. It is only when we try to express our thoughts that we use languages. So, how is a language beneficial when we think among ourselves only?
If we don't know a language, how are we supposed to think? Like whenever we think something, we already have a name for it, right? We already use the language inherently. Even if we are talking to ourselves, we use the language. It's not like we are just fumbling words around. We are using a language, we are using a syntax, a grammar, or
Thank you,
something.
Janvi. Let's keep the answers short and to the point. Sagnik, does that answer your question? Do you have any follow-up?
Yeah, I have a follow-up. So, understanding is already present when we keep thoughts to ourselves, like colors, like anything, any aspect, we already know about it, even if we are not, accustomed with the language of something. So, how is language beneficial in that when we keep it to ourselves? I'm trying to understand that.
I would like to say that we know the colors and everything, but we do know everything in our own language. Colors are something else in other language. They are, like, there could be other words for that, but we know it as colors because that is the language that we use.
Sabri, do you have a follow-up question to this?
That doesn't exactly answer the query that I had. So, like aside from like we as humans use languages, right? But animals also have thoughts and they have their own modes of communication. They have their own languages, if I say so. So thoughts are always universal, right? So I'm trying to understand, can are languages really important when we think from an individualist perspective? Like when we are not thinking from, let's say, a collaborative standpoint, when we are not thinking from a conversational standpoint.
Even if we are not thinking on a conversational aspect, as you said, thoughts are universal, but languages are individual. We will think in our own language. Animals will have their language, we will think in our language, right?
So the way we comprehend things within ourselves are also a part of languages, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, hopefully that answers Sabnik's question. Anyone else from Team Language Nurturers?
I have a question that how grammar reduces cognitive entropy.
Okay, so if I say a sentence and I don't use any structure or grammar into it, and I'll just say a few words, will that make a meaning? It won't, right? We need to follow a structure to make a sentence meaningful, to give it a semantics. That is why it reduces cognitive entropy.
Is it necessary to know grammar to reduce cognitive entropy?
Grammar gives us a structured thing, right? We have imaginations and all those things, but in order to transform it and give it a structure, we would need grammar.
Okay.
I
We
have a
have
question.
go ahead.
So they said like language can promote gender equality. How it is related?
No, our point was language can be transformative, that it changes and evolves as we and change with time and evolve. Like I said, that we use the gender equity, they and them for the genders, right? But in the previous times, like 10 or 20 years ago, we would not have used they and them for gender equity. So our point was that language can be transformative.
Oh,
Any questions from Team Language Nurturers? Any more follow-ups?
just a small follow-up. So, I'm just following up with Surya's question. So, there are languages like from a semiotic standpoint, for example, signed languages. So, how would you construct a grammar, or how would you reduce the cognitive entropy in those kind of languages which do not have a linguistic aspect, for example, voice or written symbols, written letters, and all?
As I already mentioned, grammar is not just about the vocabulary or something. It's about using a structured way to follow up and make a sentence. So even if you don't have voice or a written aspect of it, if you are going to tell a sentence, even in a sign language, you are going to follow a structure. You're not just going to throw out words, right? You would follow a structure there also. So that is what the role that grammar plays.
Got it.
Any more follow-ups? Sagnik, Archana, Tia, Surya.
You used in the first slide, language is a mirror, reflection, or distortion, right? Why you use that distortion word? What it means?
Because what kind of languages we use really affects us. Because suppose if we say something negative about ourselves or about somebody else, we start thinking negative about ourselves, right? Like if we are talking negatively about ourselves, we start believing that. So our point was that language is a mirror. If we use the positive things, it can be reflective, it can be good. But if we use the negative thing, it can be a distortion also for us and also for others.
All right. Surya, does that answer your question?
Yes.
All right. So we can now start with round two. Team language nurturers, please start with your pitch. You'll have 2 minutes.
Also, could you please explain why you gave yourself that name?
So the name suggests like language nurturers, which signifies like our team's commitment using language thoughtfully and effectively that empowers learning and it empowers innovation also.
Thank you, Archana. Over to the team for their pitch.
Good evening, everyone. Today we are from Language Nurturers. Our topic is Nurturing Language, a new framework for effective learning. So, for many of us, the ideological or how we thought, how we studies, read, make notes, and just memorize whatever is happening. But none of the times the question comes like, why are we reading or what are we reading and what is the purpose? So, we come up with this rule like if we think language as a seed, like a soil, and thoughts as a seed, seed remains dormant and there is no use for seeds if there is no soil for it to grow or nurture. Over to you, Surya.
Semiotics is the study of signs and symbols and how they create meaning in communication. In other words, semiotics studies the entire process of communication and interpretation through the sign and symbols. We have two components in semiotics. Number one, signifier, the physical form of any sign. For example, a red light, stop light. And signified is the concept or a meaning that associated with the signifier. For example, the red light is the instruction to stop. The stop sign communicates a clear message. When drivers see it, they understand that they need to stop their vehicles. Yeah, over to you, Saket.
Yeah. So, languages are essentially connected with people and cultures and civilizations, and essentially the thought process of people, because they are the ones who create the language and also transform the language. So, an example that can easily explain this is in English or in traditional languages that we know of, we usually treat the concept of time as a resource. So, sentences like time is money is essentially making time look like a resource which can be divided. It can be categorized and divided. But there are civic tribes, not Northern American tribes like Hopi tribes, which usually do not
Sagnik,
see.
so sorry to interrupt, but your 2 minutes is already run out. Give you additional 30 seconds to finish the pitch.
Okay. So they essentially treat time in a cyclic manner and not in a linear fashion, which changes the entire perspective of their thinking of time as a whole. And this essentially allows us to, all of these principles allow us to see, go to the root cause of the language, the words, and get a deeper insight and change our perspective towards it. Yeah, what do you, Surya?
Understanding these principles enhances our ability to communicate more effectively in the diverse world. By being aware of these principles, we can foster clear communication and avoid potential misunderstandings. And adapting these principles can transform studying into an engaging and innovative process. That's it.
Thank you, Team Language Nurturers. Over to Team Silent Architects for their questions. You can stop sharing your screen.
What do you mean by expanding the perspectives?
So, while languages allow us to get the linguistic insight of something, but we have to understand that language is essentially a way of conversation. When somebody says something to us, we understand it, but that doesn't necessarily give us the true picture. Semiotic nuances like body languages can often allow us to gain a deeper insight into this. For example, if I say something,
Sagnik, let's keep the answers short and to the point so that there is
yeah.
more space for follow.
Yeah. So my example is like if I say something to you and if my body language opposes it or says differently, then you can clearly understand that what I am saying is not exactly giving the true picture. So semiotic understanding is also important and gives an expansion to our understanding of something.
Okay.
Tanvi, do you have any follow-ups?
No.
I
Okay.
have a
Over to
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you see semiotic as an independent language, or do you see it as a part of a language, a vocabulary, like in order to enhance the understanding?
We don't think like semiotics as a different entity. We believe like both are interconnected and interlinked because just by words everything cannot be expressed. There are visuals also, there are body languages, emotions, everything is interconnected. If you want to give like complete understanding for a word, it takes support of all these semiotics as well.
Parisa, any
Yeah.
follow-up question?
Yeah. And how do you think this could structurize? Is there any way to structurize semiotics?
As Surya said, semiotics has two aspects, the signifier and the signified. So those two aspects are essentially what gives it a structure. The signified is the semantics of the entire thing, and the signifier is what we represent to give structure to the semantics as a whole. So it's a replacement of syntax in linguistic perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, John. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to ask how cultural frameworks embedded in languages.
So, like cultures, every geographically we have our own cultures and we have our own language also. Cultures, how they can be related means in one language, what we say or the body language that we use. Some words have different meaning in some languages, and the color also will be different. Suppose if I give an example of purple color in some of the countries in South Korea and all, it is symbolized for love. But in Japan or Germany, in either of this company, it is something bad. So people don't choose purple color for gifting or anything. So we need to know culture if we are going in a global world, and if we are telling something, it should not be contradicting to what we say.
Oh, I had a question. Yeah.
Yeah,
To
Rasina,
what
go ahead.
extent does the language limit or expand our ability to think critically? Since you said that the thought is the seed, right?
So, to think critically about something, we first need to gain the proper understanding of it, right? Proper entire understanding of it, and the entire system of linguistics and semiotics both allow us to get that entire picture, unbiased entire picture of something, following which we can debate on that, we can critically analyze that. So that's the main reason we tend to incorporate both semiotics as well as we should incorporate both semiotics as well as linguistics in our daily lives. We tend to only include linguistics, languages, letter, written things, and spoken things.
Any follow-up questions?
No.
I have a last question.
Yeah,
Okay,
Chandni, go ahead.
so you said three key basic principles of semiotics, which were sign principle, role of context, and signs operate through culture and social codes. How do you support the first and third point? Like what are those?
The first rule is the sign principle, which I explained, uh, the signifier and signified. And the third principle is third principle is about cultural code, that that any symbol gains its meaning from from the cultural convention of the societies, and through the rules. So this is about that.
So what does signifier and signified stand for?
Signifier is the physical form of any symbol, how it looks, and signified what is the meaning of that symbol. For example, red light. We see the red light, but what that meaning is, you need to stop.
Okay.
Okay, in the interest of time, we'd like to close this round. We'll end the Socratic dialogue with three reflections. Who wants to go first?
Yeah, so I gave from the pitch of Team Silent Architects, I got this interesting insight of language as a mirror. So our own emotions and our own opinions are often crafted around what we say, and what we say is that is a representation of our own opinions and our own perspectives. So we should use languages in a way that we can be unbiased, we can share our opinions and thoughts without our own personal biases and without our own personal, let's say, nuances about something that we are that we thought think about. Yeah.
Thank you, Samik. Who's going next?
Okay, I'll go next. The main insight that I got from the language nurture was that in my language, something that can be a sign of blessing or good luck, it can mean something else in another language. So we need to have a proper, like broader perspective on languages, like the basic languages, if we are following, if we are going anywhere or something like that.
I just have a small follow-up here. Is it that the things can have a different meaning in another language, or is it that they have a different meaning in another culture?
I think it's another culture, but they are using the language. Like
It's a
she gave an example of the color purple.
the difference that happens in cultures is what is propagated through the languages, right? So the languages are essentially reflection of the cultures only. So both happen simultaneously.
Okay, thank you. Sagnik and Janvi was going next.
I'll go. From the discussion, I got the insights that merely language is not, capable of translating all our emotions. We can use semiotics also, like there are emojis or there are different symbols that could be used to reflect what our emotions are, and we could use cultural understanding also. That also influences our understanding, like how we see. From culture to culture the languages differ. The how we language is same but the meanings would differ. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Farisa. With this reflection, we'll close today's Socratic dialogue. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We will be back next Saturday with another of our Socratic dialogues.